Is it a crash, a recession, a reset? Are you feeling the financial pressures that seem to be evident in the economy and real estate market right now? Let's talk about it. Let's get into a quick but in-depth market report on what's happening right now in the Southwestern Ontario real estate market. Foreclosures, one of the largest condos in Toronto, just went into receivership. And let's talk about government costs and taxes around building in the current housing crisis. Thank you for tuning into the show report. My name is Robert Yanderchak for the Shoreview real estate team, powered by New Street. It's Friday, October 20th, and let's jump things off with a simple market report update. I'm not going to get too deep into the numbers and differences between different markets, but rather provide a general overview of what's going on. Some of the updates are aligned with what we've been forecasting for the last little while. So let's get into it. The impact of interest rates has obviously been continuing to have more and more of an impact on households as time passes, and interest rates remain high or continue to increase as they recently have and may again in the near future. As renewals for mortgages come up, this will add another layer of financial pressure on households, and into 2024, it's forecasted to be the biggest year for renewals. So these two factors are the main reasons we're seeing the market fluctuate into more of a buyer's market at this time. Some people will say the end of the world is coming, the crash of a lifetime is here, and I won't agree with the first part, but the latter is a reasonable statement. We can definitely consider the market downturn as a crash and an opportunity of a lifetime, but more realistically, the way I like to position it is that it's more of a reset, a transitional process, and ultimately a wake-up call for homeowners and investors. And what do I mean by that? Well, by reset, I simply mean that those who have overleveraged themselves may fail, and those that have made financially sound decisions will thrive. And in some cases, be able to take advantage of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that's going to come from this reset. The transitional process is simply that. We've been forecasting for the last 6 months that people will be put in positions or simply decide to make transitions. Those include making major lifestyle changes like moving, and we're seeing this happen now. The main insights from the most recent trend market report in the GCA were two things. Listings were up by 44% and sales were down by 7%. So you got more listings, less sales. Prices were still up by 3% from last year. And honestly, when you look at a graph of 3 to 5 years, the prices are still not far off from the all-time high, and they're significantly more than they were 3 to 5 years ago. So what does all that mean? It means that there's a lot of money injected in the Canadian economy during COVID. Inflation rose drastically, and now we have to balance that with that inflation with interest rate increases. And due to that, people are making transitions to deal with the adjustments. They're listing the homes, and those homes are in competition with many other properties. So only a select few of those homes are selling, which means that the pricing strategy, the motivation, and the flexibility around the sale of a property are more critical than ever. But ultimate sales price is still very reasonable sales price in the context of a 3-year window in the current economic conditions. So there's still significant evidence pointing to the fact that there's a housing shortage and housing crisis amongst us, and this problem won't be going away anytime soon. So if and when interest rates do come down, we do forecast the market adjusting swiftly. So that's the overall scoop on the general market as of the end of October 2023. I wanted to dive into a little bit deeper on two stories today. We've been speaking to our mortgage partners and bank contacts a lot recently about the amount of properties that are currently being foreclosed on. Those numbers are increasing dramatically, hundreds per month from a single bank, which is up significantly from previous years. Something to note on this topic is to consider strategies on how a homeowner investor can take steps towards finding solutions to some of the financial squeezing that's currently happening. And what does that mean? It means how can you better manage your money to make sure that ends are meeting in this high interest rate situation. There may be lower interest options or lower payment options that you can explore. In addition, banks do not want you to foreclose on your home, so call your bank and explore all the options they have available to alleviate some of those financial pressures. On the note of financial struggles, the most luxurious condo in Toronto has been put into receivership with $1.7 billion of debt. A prestigious skyscraper project nestled in one of Toronto's most affluent neighborhoods is facing significant challenges that can reshape the city's iconic skyline. The one condo, which is an 85-story tower situated at the corner of Yonge and Bloor Street in an area known as the Mink Mile. This remarkable project, spearheaded by developer Sam Mizrahi and investor Jenny Coco, has been in the limelight for quite some time. This condo is pretty near to me because it launched in and around the same time that I launched New Street in 2017, and the vision and dream that Sam had for this condo was nothing short of admirable. It was surprising to see a less established builder with a decent track record, but not an extensive one, take on such a huge project. It's definitely a legacy building, and some of the financial hurdles on a project of this magnitude could be expected, especially going through COVID and now this market fluctuation. This simply goes to show that one of the most important factors of any project is having the financial buffer and access to capital to ensure a project is sustained and completed. This approach applies to a massive project like the one, or a small single-family real estate investment that you might be doing on your own. The one was designated to be a symbol of luxury, but it's currently facing a lot of turmoil, construction delays, cost overruns, and the financial woes have plagued the ambitious venture since 2017. Just to give you a glimpse of the financial challenges, the project initially had a budget of $1.4 billion back in 2019. However, earlier this year, the number has skyrocketed to a staggering $2 billion, which is a significant increase. Construction, which was expected to be completed this year or last year, has lagged behind. As of early October, only the first 40 floors have been erected. Furthermore, the project's retail space is without an anchor tenant, which adds complications. The situation escalated to the point where two funds managed by IGIS Asset Management from South Korea applied for receivership. They'll be taking over construction, and an additional $350 million will be invested to keep the project afloat. Now, with all these hurdles in the way, the project's completion date has been pushed back to about March 2025, meanwhile facing the complexities of the current real estate market conditions, which adds another layer of concern. One last twist in the tale, the partners between the one, Jenny Coco, and Bassam Mizrahi have been experiencing a strained relationship. Court documents revealed that their disagreements have hindered the project's progress and strained their relationship with lenders. So what does all that mean for Toronto's real estate landscape? Well, it's a stark reminder that even the most ambitious projects can face turbulence. Financing, construction, and partnerships play pivotal roles in the success of any real estate venture, and this is very important investment. Is very much in line with the plot of one condo, is another story now behind the red tape and cost of construction. We've talked about this several times on the podcast, on the amidst podcast, where we interview some of Ontario's most influential business people and experienced real estate investors. It's a serious issue in the GTA, and Brad Cartier from the Financial Post has a aligned opinion that this could be the leading cause to the overall housing crisis. The opinion piece in the Financial Post titled "Want More Housing Construction? How About Taxing Builder Less?" by Brad Cartier delves into a fundamental issue that's affecting the real estate market in Canada. Cartier begins by highlighting his commitment to building affordable and accessible housing. He raises concerns about the rising cost of housing and explores why developers may be hesitant to build more. One key point Cartier makes is the significant impact on taxes on the cost of new housing. He emphasizes the need for government to reconsider their approach to the real estate industry. For example, he gives an example where when he completed a 6-unit building, he paid approximately $427,000 in taxes, a substantial part of the project's total cost. These taxes include federal, provincial, and municipal fees, as well as employment taxes that are eventually passed on to owners and tenants. Cartier argues that ultimately it's the owners and renters who bear the brunt of these taxes when they purchase a house. Studies by the Canadian Centre for Economic Analysis confirm this, showing that governments make significantly more from new housing construction than the developers do. In fact, the tax burden on new housing in Ontario averages 31% of the purchase price, which is double the burden in the rest of the economy. It's a surprising contrast to how industries, alcohol and casinos are taxed substantially less. Cartier humorously points out that we're asking builders to put more shovels to the ground to meet the demand for housing, while simultaneously requesting hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes from them from every property that's built. It's a very peculiar situation. He likens it to an unusual game of Monopoly where business owners are becoming increasingly hesitant to participate, and a lot of them are actually going to different locations, different provinces. They're going to the States to invest their money. To be fair, some initiatives have been introduced to alleviate the burden. Ontario's Bill 23 aims to reduce red tape and fees, while the removal of GST on rental housing construction is also a positive step. Additionally, the CMHC is working on incentive programs to facilitate housing developments. All those are great initiatives. They're commendable, but they may not be enough to address the core issue of the taxes and costs of building. Cartier's core argument is that housing should not be a profit center for governments. He suggests that governments need to prioritize the housing crisis, stop seeking tax handouts, and invest more in the construction of affordable housing. In conclusion, Brad's opinion piece encourages us to rethink our approach to housing in Canada. It's not just about building more houses, it's about how can we make housing more affordable and accessible for everyone. I agree with the article, and ultimately I think this reset will bring many changes and many opportunities. As always, stay informed. Thank you for joining us for this comprehensive short report. Make sure to reach out to anyone on the Shoreview real estate team with any real estate questions whatsoever. All our agents are very in tune with the respective local markets and are always here to help. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend. All the best.